first dhyana, not being liberated from desire, are described as minor. Compared with the second dhyana, the first dhyana is minor and so on up to the absorption of cessation. The impure dhyanas are lesser whereas the pure dhyanas are greater. While the bodhisattva has not become irreversible and has not obtained the acquiescence that dharmas do not arise, his dhyanas are minor. When he has become irreversible and has obtained the acquiescence that dharmas do not arise, his dhyanas are major. When the bodhisattva was sitting on the seat of enlightenment, the concentrations associated with the first 16 liberations were minor, but, at the 17th moment, the diamond-like concentration was major. Finally, when the bodhisattva considers all the dharmas as being eternally concentrated and free of distraction, when he does not rely on them and does not distinguish them, it is a matter of major considerations. The others are minor. D. Lesser practice of wisdom. Wisdom is of two kinds. 1. Mundane. 2. Supramundane. The mundane wisdom is lesser. The supramundane wisdom is greater. In the same way, contrasting in the order of greatness pure wisdom and mixed wisdom, characterized wisdom and non-characterized wisdom, speculative wisdom and non-speculative wisdom, the wisdom in accordance with the dharma and the wisdom contrary to the dharma, the wisdom turned toward samsara and the wisdom turned toward nirvana, the wisdom directed toward one's own good and the wisdom directed toward the good of all beings, etc. Furthermore, the wisdom coming from hearing is lesser in comparison to the wisdom coming from reflection, which is greater. The wisdom coming from reflection is lesser in comparison to the wisdom coming from meditation, which is greater. The wisdom which produces the mind of supreme complete enlightenment is lesser in comparison to the wisdom utilizing the six perfections, which is greater. The wisdom of practice is lesser in comparison to the wisdom of skillful means, which is greater. In the course of the 10 bodhisattva bhumis, skillful means is always being developed up to the 10th bhumi. These are the degrees to be distinguished in the various paramithas. The Buddha praises the deeds of the bodhisattva who, by accomplishing lesser things, obtains an immense and infinite qualification. What then can be said when the bodhisattva accomplishes greater things? Other people who give up their wealth and try very hard by means of their body, speech, and mind, painfully gain a small amount of merit. It is the same when they practice discipline, patience, exertion, meditation, and wisdom. They do not reach the bodhisattva who, by means of lesser efforts, gains a great retribution, as we have said above. The air that escapes from the mouth produces an articulated sound, but this sound does not reach very far. By contrast, the sound that comes from a horn has a long range. It is the same for the perfections of generosity, etc., practiced to a lesser degree by the bodhisattva. Whereas among other people who practice these virtues, the merits gained are little rewarded, the bodhisattva mahasattva, by means of prajnaparamita and skillful application of his merits, obtains an immense and infinite merit. This is why the Prajnaparamita Sutra speaks here of the bodhisattva who wishes to practice a lesser generosity, a lesser discipline, a lesser patience, a lesser exertion, a lesser trance and a lesser wisdom. Paramitakarana. Second section, practicing the six perfections. Sutra. The bodhisattva mahasattva who wishes to practice the perfection of generosity, the perfection of discipline, the perfection of patience, the perfection of exertion and the perfection of meditation, must practice the perfection of wisdom. Sastra. For the meaning of perfection, see what has been said above. I. Relationship between prajna and the other perfections. Question. Either the first 5 perfections are the same as prajnaparamita or they are not. If they are the same as prajnaparamita, there is no need to posit 5 distinct perfections. If they are different, how can you claim that, in order to practice the perfection of generosity, it is necessary to practice the prajnaparamita? Answer. They are both the same and different. They are different in the sense that the prajnaparamita that considers the true nature of dharmas presupposes and holds no dharma. Generosity itself rejects all inner and outer good. But if one practices generosity in the spirit of the prajnaparamita, the generosity takes the name of perfection. Furthermore, the first 5 perfections establish the qualities and the prajnaparamita chases away persistent thoughts and wrong views. It is as if one man planted grain and another man hoed and weeded to strengthen the grain. In the same way, the prajnaparamita makes the 4 other perfections ripen. 2. Prajna and generosity. Question. Why does the Prajnaparamita Sutras say that in order to practice the perfection of generosity, one must exert oneself in the perfection of wisdom? Answer. Generosity is of 2 kinds. 1. Pure. 2. Impure. 1. Impure generosity. Impure generosity is 1. Giving from pride, thinking, if destitute people give, why should I not give? 2. Giving from jealousy, thinking, my rival has acquired a reputation and has surpassed me by giving. Now I should give more generously still in order to surpass him. 3. Giving from love for reward, thinking, by giving a little bit, my reward will be 10 million times better. Therefore I give. 4. Giving for the glory, thinking, now that I like to give, I am esteemed by people and loved by the crowd. 5. Giving in order to win over people, thinking, the person to whom I am giving now will certainly take refuge in me. Practicing generosity with many fetters of this type is impure generosity. 2. Pure generosity. Pure generosity does not have these mean tricks. 1. Guided only by pure intention, he thinks about the fruit of ripening as a result of causes and conditions. He has consideration and pity for the beneficiary and does not seek for actual profit. He aims only for the benefit of future lifetimes. 2. Furthermore, there is a pure generosity that does not seek the advantages of future lifetimes but which favors access to nirvana by way of mind cultivation alone. 3. Finally, there is a pure generosity that, out of great compassion for beings, seeks neither personal benefit nor the accelerated acquisition of nirvana but strives only for supreme complete enlightenment. This is pure generosity, and it is in the spirit of the Prajnaparamita that it is possible to practice it. And so the Prajnaparamita Sutra says that in order to practice the perfection of generosity, it is necessary to practice the perfection of wisdom. Moreover, by means of the power of Prajnaparamita, any feeling of attachment to dharmas is rejected. Why should the feeling of self then not be rejected? Having rejected the feeling of self, one regards one's body, one's spouse, one's son, as a blade of grass and, without the least consideration, one renounces them completely. This is why the Prajnaparamita says that in order to practice the perfection of generosity, it is necessary to practice the perfection of wisdom. It is the same for the other perfections, morality, patience, exertion, and trance, for they are maintained by the spirit of the Prajnaparamita.